Good morning everybody, it's Graham again from Unearthed, and it's another episode of Detecting Talk. How fast they come around. You'll be all saying to yourselves, eagerly waiting for this next episode, I hope. Now this is an interesting one because it's been on my mind to do this film for some time and I've never really got round to doing it for whatever reason. But I think it's now time to bring it up. And it is all based on, of course, metal detecting. But you guys as individuals, why do you go detecting? You go detecting for a number of reasons. I go detecting for a number of reasons. I love finding ancient things, I always have done since I was a child. I love finding coins, I love finding artifacts, I love looking after them properly, I love doing the research on them, I love caring for them, I love collecting them if they're not treasure. Thank God they're not treasure. And I love showing people the finds that I make, just like you guys do. But there's another side to metal detecting that I think we're probably missing out on discussing, if that makes sense. It's not often mentioned, or not mentioned enough, and that is health and well-being. Now, that might come as a bit of a surprise to some people out there watching this, but believe it or not, I think detecting for a long time, for as long as I can remember, has helped with my mental health, my mental well-being, my health and well-being. Because if I've had a bad week, and it's been a stressful week at work, you know, running your own business, a small business like ours, relying on sales coming in through our website and calls over the phone and people visiting the office, you know, to keep a roof over your head, you've got to make sure you do a decent job. And you're reliant on sales. Got another form of income coming in, so it's it can be a stressful time. There's no two ways about it. Running a small business, if you guys out there have done it, you know exactly where I'm coming from. If you haven't, believe me, it's difficult. Has its pros and has its cons. But at the end of the week, there's nothing better for me to go out in the fields to detect, because it raises up the well-being of me as an individual. So all your stresses are left behind. You're not concentrating on that person kicking off about whatever and she's wanting her money back because she doesn't like that particular product, or this hasn't worked properly, or they're not finding gold enough, or they're not finding enough silver. All that goes away when I'm putting my headphones on and I'm out in the field with my detector. You're concentrating on one thing. Well, you're actually concentrating on a couple of things. You're concentrating on your surroundings, beautiful countryside that we've got in the UK, and we're concentrating on detecting, and everything else disappears. So there's a lot of people, I think, out there that benefits from detecting. It helps their mental health, helps their health and well-being. There's no two ways about it. I have customers over the years buying metal detectors off us and saying if it wasn't for detecting, I'd be stuck in the house. If it wasn't detecting, I'd get very little exercise, because it's the one thing that gets me up in the morning to get out in the fields and walk around finding coins and artifacts. If I don't find anything, it doesn't matter. I'm outdoors. I mean, there was a survey not long ago in one of the national newspapers where it said people's mental health is helped greatly by just going outdoors, just walking, being in the fresh air. You know, if you're in beautiful surroundings, like we're lucky up here in the near the Lake District, because we've got some of the most beautiful surrounding scenery you could ever imagine. And to get out there detecting in amongst it is just a joy to behold. I mean, the Unearthed dig that's coming up this time next week, and it's in some of the most beautiful picturesque countryside you can ever imagine. And of course, when we do go on into our travels into other counties, it's still equally as pretty. But just being outside, listening to the bird song and the warm, if you're lucky enough, there's a bit of warm sun coming down on you and you're finding a few things, there's no better place to be. It helps people greatly. Getting outdoors and detecting, it's a pastime. It's a wonderful pastime for helping people, getting rid of their stresses. And as I said, we have a lot of people buying detectors off us that say to us, if it wasn't for detecting, I wouldn't do half as much walking as I would. I don't know what I'd be doing if it wasn't for detecting. It's that one hobby that gives me a chance to concentrate on something else rather than the everyday doom and gloom of life for some people. You know, let's face it, you know, a lot of people this day and age suffer from stress. More people that come into the world, the more stresses that go around, the more problems life's going too fast for people. And, you know, I sympathise with them. I really do. It's one hobby, a bit like fishing, where you can get out and enjoy your surroundings without bothering anybody. So the health and well-being side of the hobby is it's a fantastic side to what we do. You know, I mean, you know, I shudder to think where some people would be if it wasn't for the hobbies that they have. And of course, you know, we need to maybe talk about that a little bit more. I don't know, but it's one subject that's close to my heart, because I know a lot of people that suffer, not so much from depression, but from stresses of everyday life. And some people suffer from depression. You know, it's how they're made as individuals. There's nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with admitting that. But detecting helps. Detecting helps. 100% does it help. You're out there enjoying what you're doing, and your thought process is coming away from the everyday grind of life, and you're concentrating on what you're doing out in the fields. There's no better way of doing it. And then of course you've got fresh air. You get home at night, you're tired, you get a good night's sleep that night because you've been out in the fresh air all day. Just a fabulous hobby. Just fabulous for health and well-being. So it's a good subject. It'd be interesting to hear from some of you guys out there if you feel the same. You know, does it help you with your general health and well-being, detecting? And just imagine if one day in the future that our wonderful hobby was taken away from us. How many people out there, I mean, there's thousands of people that detect, we know that, but how many of them people do we know or is out there that detecting helps directly with their mental health and well-being? There'll be thousands. But just imagine if we didn't have this wonderful hobby to enjoy, this innocent, wonderful hobby that we've got. So it's worth considering that we've got to protect what we've got. We've got to make sure that detecting, our hobby, our pastime, innocent pastime of detecting is protected. Which brings me on to the next subject, which is all related. And it's this, if I can pick it up properly. The NCMD, our friends at the NCMD, they've released this just recently. Now you'll get this off the NCMD website if you wish. And it's regarding the consultation. The Department of Culture, Media and Sport have recently launched a consultation process to review the definitions of treasure within the Treasure Act 1996. Okay, so this has recently been coming out and it's prompting people to respond to it. And you've got to do it, folks. You've got to do it. This is important. Very, very important. And I'm going to continue to read because not all of you guys out there have seen this. The treasure within the Treasure Act 1996, as well as the way this material is processed, along with a number of changes to the accompanying Treasure Code of Practice. The consultation also poses a number of controversial questions, no less, concerning the long-term future form of the treasure process and its sustainability. I said that all right, didn't I? Sustainability. The manner in which these have been written will inevitably impact on the hobby of metal detecting. Oh, fantastic, great stuff. You can always guarantee they'll come back and hammer the good old detectorist, can't you? Will inevitably impact on the hobby of metal detecting in a number of ways, by seeking to control access to land and redefining ownership of non-treasure archaeological materials. We look after our non-archaeological materials better than you bloody lot do. And you knew that's aimed at. We don't just stick them in drawers, we look after them properly. We record them. We do our research on them. We lovingly look after them and show them to our friends and family. We collect them. What do they think we do? Just go and flog them on eBay? It would be stressed that these questions are not part of the current changes proposed to the Treasure Act, but have been added as a means to gauge public and professional opinions for such changes in the near future. And this is where you guys come in. You've got to respond to this, folks. You really have. If you're serious about detecting, like I am, and you want your health and well-being to remain solid, you've got to respond to this. All NCMD members are urged to respond to the consultation in their own words to ensure that the views of the hobby are fully taken into account. Health and well-being, folks. Use the health and well-being side of it. If it helps your health and well-being to no end, bring it up, mention it. I am. Right. So, in their own words, to ensure that the views of the hobby are fully taken into account. I said that, didn't I? The NCMD will be responding to the consultation on behalf of its members. However, the way that consultations of this type work means that each response, no matter how many people it has been written for, will still only be counted as one response. Hence the importance of the hobby to respond either as an individual or a club in significant numbers. So you've got to do it. The consultation closes at 11:59 p.m. Why didn't he just say midnight? Why didn't, just bureaucracy at its bloody worst. Just put midnight. Why 11:59? Oh, because it rolls over to the next day. On the 30th of April, so we haven't got long, got a month. Full details can be found, and there's a link. And I'm not going to read that link out because it's a silly https://dcms.eu, and it goes on and on. But you can contact the NCMD direct to get this information, and it's on the NCMD website, folks. So go on there, you can read all that I've just blurted out. But you've got to respond to it. You've got to make sure that these people that are trying to implement these new laws and changes understand that we're detectorists, innocent detectorists that get on with our hobby each week without harming anybody. We love to be outdoors. It's giving us fresh air, it's giving us exercise, and it's giving us something to focus on rather than boring work. So we've got to do it. You've got to respond to that, folks. You really have. Now, I'll be sending, use club members out there, I'll be sending this out to the club, our club members at Furnace Finders. So you're all going to get a copy of this, and I want you to respond to it if you can, please. Religiously, each person responding to it in their own way. You know, the amount of treasure items that have been found by detectorists over the years is phenomenal. We've boosted these archaeological, whatever we class them as. Their knowledge has grown greater off the back of us detecting out in the fields. And we've got to make sure that's heard. We've got to make sure that people understand. And I'm 100% behind the NCMD because I'm sure our friends at the NCMD will do a fantastic job at responding. We've got to fight the good fight. They've got to start concentrating on other areas. And the problem is, I'm not going to get politically, because if you watch telly at the moment, it's just full of political jargon and garbage and absolute atrocious amounts of diarrhea. It's just diarrhea that comes out of all these politicians at the moment is unbelievable. But the problem is, we vote these government bodies in that give these people the power to start changing the laws and messing about with people's hobbies. Think of that. We need a revolution in this country. Absolutely do. We've got to start thinking of the innocent people out there in this country that just do their hobbies. I used to fish a lot. I love fishing. I love it. But it doesn't come anywhere near as close to detecting. Detecting is the hobby that captivates people's imaginations. There's no hobby like it. And we've got to make sure, as detectorists, as honest, law-abiding detectorists, we've got to make sure we do the right thing and protect it. Because if in the future it ever got seriously, really sort of, what's the word I'm looking for? Not banned, because I don't like using the word banned, because I don't think it'll ever be banned, right? So let's get that out of the way. God help them if they ever did, but I don't think it ever would. But I think the restrictions might be put on it to a degree where we all suffer. But they're just going to make it a rod for their own backs. They're going to drive it underground. They've got to continue doing what they're doing, working alongside detectorists, bringing a bit of harmony with archaeologists together, working in partnership, making sure people are recording the finds if they want to, making sure people are doing the right thing with the treasure items, and make sure people are recording the coins like I do with the Fitzwilliam Museum. All my old coins are recorded by them. Fantastic service. Just continue down this path. And if there's rogue elements of this hobby, let's work together and get rid of them. Let's work and get rid of the rogue elements of the hobby. But please, please, please do not come and pick on me as an innocent detectorist, where my health and well-being is all linked to what I do out in the fields in my hobby time. Because if that was taken away, God knows what would happen. Seriously, I rely on detecting, not just for my livelihood, but it's my hobby, first and foremost, and I rely on that for boosting my well-being and getting rid of my stresses. And that must happen to thousands of people out there. And you've got to make sure that these lot know it. So, you know, give me some feedback, folks. I mean, it's you know, it'd be good to hear from you. Not everybody will agree to it. Not everybody will agree that it does that. I mean, there's a lot of people out there that will be thinking different things, but believe me, there's a heck of a lot of people out there that get a massive boost from detecting. Not only by the finds that they make. That's just the cherry on the top. It's a bonus. I always say to my detecting partner, guys, if I go detecting today with you and we find something, it's just a bonus. Being outdoors. In them spring-like conditions, or in the autumn when the sunsets are coming down, you get some of the sunsets that we see are phenomenal. Stood there in the field looking at the sunset, there's no better place to be in the world. Your stresses are gone. And of course you make some wonderful finds on the back of it. Happy days. We only live once. In a very short period we live once. Let's make the most of it. If we enjoy detecting, let us get on with our detecting. Let us do what we do. Stop sticking your oar in and thinking we should be changing this and changing that. It's a lot, you know, we're saving archaeological material, coins and artifacts from destruction. They don't understand it. They never want to walk out in the fields with me for 8 hours a day, walking about seeing what I dig up. They'll be shocked. Junk after junk after junk. We're cleaning the land of junk, for God's sake. You know, not only is this hobby being attacked by the silly green waste, but we're being looked at in other areas. It's ridiculous. So respond to it, folks. If you need any more information, I can maybe try and put this link, possibly try to put this link under this YouTube film on the description underneath with all that blurb that I write. I can maybe hopefully put the link on, and I'll try my best to do it. So putting that aside, let me have a little drink. I've talked enough. Per usual. My throat's getting dry. But putting this lot aside, because it's an important topic, the response that I got from you guys from the simple site research film that we did on the last video, I appreciate your comments, and there's been some wonderful comments. I hope you've all got the links to the map. I sent many people it on Facebook and Messenger and email. People were emailing me. It's heartwarming that you guys are watching this channel and you're actually responding to me and saying, can you send me the link, mate? It's been, and some people have already had the link. That's fine. You know, not everybody's got it, and the people that haven't got it are using it and enjoying it. So I'm pleased that it's helped, and we'll try our best in the future to give you more interesting links from different maps and different resources that I use personally. I think it's all about sharing. There's a lot of people in this hobby that you know, would benefit from the back of these maps and these links that are out there. So watch this space, and I don't know if I'm going to be able to fit another detecting talk in this week. We've got a busy period coming up now. We've got new products coming. The magic coils are here. The magic coils have been released, folks. So they were attempted to deliver yesterday, which I was in all morning, so it's a load of bollocks that they didn't try to attempt to deliver. It's just what the driver puts down to say that he tried his best. So we expect them magic coils to be here tomorrow. So get in there quick, folks, because there's a lot of them. People have already put their names down for them. And then we've got the Unearthed dig this time next week. Fingers crossed the weather stays fine, because it's a lovely area of land. Semi-arable pasture. A lot of it's been ploughed in the past. We've checked it for green waste and there was none of it. Initial findings, we found coins, buttons, lead bag seals, and we only had 5. The lads only had, well, 2 lads, Gaz and Dave, only had 5 digs each. So I allowed them 10 holes to check for green waste and scan the area for any sound of green waste, and there was nothing. But it's encouraging signs. There was coins coming up straight away. So watch out for that film, and thank you for subscribing and watching. It's been it's certainly gathering some pace, this YouTube channel, and it's all down to you guys. So I do appreciate it. Okay, I hope that helps, and I'll catch up with you soon. If you're out detecting today, good luck, and see you all very soon. Thanks for watching.